is Johnny Wrestling or Johnny Takeover, as my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're involved right now. It's crazy. It's loud. It's hectic. We're in New York City. But I want you to listen to No Holds Barred Network.
Enough is enough. They're always taking their sides, careless and nine, plus and minus their divide.
Hey guys, welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the EVP of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany, and I mess it up every single time. And I am joined today with the law Ray Ramundo, and of course, our special guest, the forgotten, but will be remembered, Adam Cain. What is going on, guys? Okay.
First you mess up your own name. Then again, you give us like a subtle intro, like, let me do this correctly.
Okay.
You gave your part, so I'll do my own. It's okay. Once again, I am the law Ray Ramundo, and we are joined by, formerly known as Cutthroat, formerly known as a Falcon Corp member. He is the forgotten Adam. Wait, you have a last name? Is it just... No. It's Adam Cain. How's it
You're
going,
hilarious,
brother?
Ray. You are hilarious, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love it.
Damn, the salt.
I'm good, believe me. I'm real good.
Oh man, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode. We're getting up close and personal. So Adam, thank you. Hope you're doing good during this pandemic.
I mean, try to make the best of it. I appreciate you guys having me on. So.
Of course. We have to share it to the world. We need to know. We have lots of questions. Yes. So looks like our streaming end is doing good. So if you guys have questions in the chat, please drop them in the chat below. So
wait, we were supposed to have questions for this?
Oh shit! All right, that's it. Bye guys.
I know I forgot something. Damn it.
Deuces.
Nice pun.
Damn it.
Oh man.
Nice pun. You're lucky I could take a joke.
Damn, you're gonna get like when we're like okay and can go back out and actually social. You're so dead with all the wrestlers that you're joining me with. Like you're gonna get like super kicked, going like threaten to beat you up in the hospital. Like I feel sorry for you, Ray.
Oh no, see with Ray, I'm just gonna surprise him with something. I'm not even gonna tell you.
Oh man.
And it's sad because he knows where I live, so it's like it could happen.
Oh, see, you
like
in trouble.
Ray, if you wake up and it's like all dark, I mean.
Tiff, you want to go into the questions?
Okay, let's start this little party, okay? All right. So, we know you. Me and Ray personally know you. Okay, you're the one that like killed friendships the other day in Skype playing Uno. Just saying. But this evil guy, I'm just telling you. But the fans may or may not know you. So let's get a little up and close and personal with you. So, tell everybody, how did you become a professional wrestler?
Very, very, very randomly. I mean, all my life I've basically been a wrestling fan. When I was a kid, I think I was, how old was I? I think I was still a baby. My father has photos of it. He took me to WrestleMania 2 back in 1986, which was the same year I was born. Yes, I just revealed how old I was. And my dad was always a wrestling fan, and it just, my dad was my hero. So I saw my dad, and I was like, oh, I want to be a wrestling fan too. And it was like right around like 1989. It was like WrestleMania 4. I'm sorry, WrestleMania 4. That was 88. And I was 4. I could have been. No, I was 2 or 3 years old at that time, and that's like when I actually saw wrestling on TV, and it just whoa, like this is bigger than the circus. You know, I mean, you got these guys that are doing all these athletic things, picking each other up and putting each other down, doing all that. It really was it was amazing to watch all that, and I was hooked from there. Throughout the years, saw how good wrestling was, saw how bad wrestling was. And it wasn't until I attended a pro wrestling syndicate show, which is now WrestlePro, in Woodside. And I remember I think the opening match was Beretta against Dan Moff. And, Moff called himself Puerto Rican Beast, Boricua Beast. And me and my dad, it was funny because me and my dad are cheering in the audience, Boricua, Boricua. It's the funniest thing ever. And from there, I was like, you know what? I think I want to start training. I think I want to start, what do I got to do to start doing this thing, start wrestling? So, I went to, I think it was David Adams that was announcing at the time. And I asked him, I was like, yo, so how do I get into this wrestling thing? He's like, oh, I have no idea. I don't know who to talk to. I was like, oh, okay. I got to figure this out on my own then. And that's when I ran into House of Glory. That was 2013. I was a late bloomer, started late. And I met Smiley there, who evidently spoke English, which was weird to me. And
lost it through the years, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe he bought the English for Dummies book. I mean, it could have been that. I don't know. I spoke to him, and I waited there for Brian to show up, and Brian XL, who he basically gave me the rundown, the laydown of all of it. He's like, yeah, it's going to take dedication, it's going to take hard work. And I showed up later that week, pair of wrestling shoes, some knee pads, all money in hand, ready to go, and just went from there.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
That's great. That's awesome story started right there with this man right there. I love it. Okay. This question I love to ask everyone just because it shows what they're like, what their style is, what they like to be. So, Falcon Corp, Glory Foundation, the HFC. You've been a part of many teams / factions. Would you say you prefer that or being a lone wolf as you currently are?
I mean, I love both. You get to know how other people work when you're in a tag team. I was with Falcon Corp with Joe Quick. It's my boy. It's my brother. I love him to death. We were together for almost 3 years, almost 3.5 years. I want to say almost 4, until Joe went down. And I always we always talked about it. Or yo, what if they decided to break us up? What if? We always kept ideas for single wrestler stuff on the back end, but we still had them just in case if anything went down. And evidently this went down. Joe ended up getting hurt, and I was like, all right, so back to square one.
Oh wow.
So then from there, while I was actually teaming up with Joe, this is when the HFC started, with Draconis, another one of my best friends. He's a little weird though, it's the cult stuff. And but I don't let that bother me. So then we started doing the trio stuff, and for some we were still trying to find ways to click. It just wouldn't we would always write down stuff. We'd always try out stuff. We're like, wait a minute, it's not working. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Then Joe went down. Then it turned into a 2-man thing with me and Draconis. We both already kind of had an idea of what it is that we wanted to do with the team. So it meshed well. And then the human side of Draconis, Dante, unfortunately went down with injury. And so again, I'm back to square one all over again. The whole Glory Foundation thing was fun for the short time that it lasted. You know, it was basically 4 guys. You know, we're not being used. This is a mistreatment. We're the foundation. We're the ones that help build this company. We're the ones that built the foundation. So that's where the Glory Foundation came from. Flanagan, the mouthpiece of our group. And again, I mean, that unfortunately didn't really go anywhere. Everybody kind of went their separate ways. And then on top of that, like I said, with Joe getting injured as well also. And then right around, refresh my memory, was a High Intensity 8, I think? Was that the Bret Hart one?
Yeah, that was 8. That was 8.
Yeah, that was 8. And so right around that time, it was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna be doing this loner gimmick by myself. I took bits of elements of each faction and each team that I've been a part of. The hate portion of the HFC, the dominant portion of the Falcon Corp, and the forgotten portion of the Glory Foundation. I kind of meshed it in, and I was like, all right, so now that I have an idea, let's roll with it and see where it goes. And I'm liking where it's taking me so far. I got a lot more ideas that I want to do. So I'm kind of liking the loner gimmick right now. You know, I don't really have to worry about anybody else. It's just, you know, it's just me, myself, my goals.
Right.
See where it goes from there.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So hopefully when we get back together, looking forward to seeing you.
Knock on wood.
So to the people who don't know you, what kind of style of wrestling best suits you?
I mean, you know, all us wrestlers, we're all fans as well also. We're probably the biggest marks out there. We just don't want to admit it. I am a mark for Japanese strong style. I love it. I love the concept of Japanese strong style. I love the realness to it. You know, the whole fighting spirit, inhabiting the ancient samurai warrior going to battle. You know, I love every bit of it. I knew about Japanese wrestling when I was a kid. It's just, you know, being in America, you don't really have much access to that. It wasn't until I started watching Ring of Honor where the Japanese aspect of that started to come back. And I was starting to wonder, oh, wait a minute, who are these guys? Who's Kenta? Who's this guy that's having like this incredible match with Low Ki? Like who's this incredible guy who's having a banger over with Samoa Joe? So, you know, that's when I started doing the research, and then all of a sudden all these old clips of All Japan Wrestling and old New Japan stuff started coming up, and I was like, oh, whoa, like this is awesome. And I was kind of hooked from there. Still loving how it's evolving so much, and I love the fact that it's evolving into the United States as well. Also, I love that New Japan is really taking advantage of that, coming into the United States, exposing their product to the American fans. I mean, a lot more American fans should be exposed to this. It's something different outside of what you see from WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, like all the mainstream stuff that you see on TV. So it's good to see all that. But Japanese wrestling is really what hooked me. You know, I have a little soft spot for Lucha Libre as well also, coming from a Latino background. Yes, I am Latino, so I don't want anybody to get this confused.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I am Latino. Just because I don't sound like it doesn't mean that I'm not, okay? So I do have a soft spot for Lucha Libre wrestling. And I actually do pick up some of the Latino channels. So once I see AAA, once I see CMML, my butt is glued to the seat. I'm like, hey, it's wrestling. I'm watching this.
Right.
So, strong style is basically what my mind is set on.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's awesome. I love it's perfect. A perfect segue there because you talk about the transition of styles evolving and everything. Can you talk us a bit though of your personal evolution, going from Cutthroat to now the forgotten persona that you portray?
Well, you know, I'm going to start from the very beginning.
There you go.
And my original name was Adam Falcon, and it was just something I just randomly thought of while playing Super Smash Brothers with my nephew one day, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick Captain Falcon, and it just kind of like clicked from there. I'm like, wait a minute, I can use my name, Adam Falcon. It's like, dude, I can be Captain Falcon. All right, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be awesome, and you know, didn't really go anywhere. But the whole cutthroat persona came during the HFC time. I was looking for a moniker. I was looking for something to compare myself to. So I just started writing down monikers. I think matter of fact, I was actually talking to Draconis about this, and he just gave me like this giant list of like monikers and personas that came up. I was like, wow, you must have been thinking about this stuff for a while now. And there was a couple of them that caught my mind. Crossfire was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, like Crossfire, I like that. That's catchy. Like, you don't hear anybody that's using Crossfire. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hang on to that. And then I saw Cutthroat. I was like, ooh, I like that. Like, you know, we're big bad guys. It sounds ruthless. It sounds aggressive. All right, you know what? Cutthroat Adam Falcon. You know, it kind of rolls off the tongue. Cutthroat Adam Falcon. All right, I like it. Let's do it. And I had to do more research, look up synonyms for Cutthroat. What's similar to Cutthroat? I was like, okay, are these things? All right, so now I took these words, and it's like, okay, who can I compare these words to in professional wrestling? No, forgive me for bringing his name up, especially with the Vice documentary that just recently passed. Chris Benoit. He called himself the Wolverine, the Rabid Wolverine. Started watching more of Chris Benoit. Taz also came to mind as well. Also, started watching some of his old ECW matches, picking up on his suplex, the suplex stuff that he used to do. Going back to Japanese wrestling. They didn't really have much personas, but these guys are fighters. They don't take no BS from anybody. So watching guys like Misawa, Kawada, especially Kawada was no nonsense. I think you even see Daniel Bryan do the Kawada kicks to the head. You see that, they're like, whoa, this guy's a savage. Like, this guy gives no F's whatsoever. He's doing these kicks. He's doing these punches. Tenru. Every time I watch a Tenru match, I crack up because he beats the ever-loving crap out of his opponent. I remember watching Tenru and Kenta, and he punched the living crap out of Kenta, and I just fell to the floor cracking up. It was just basically taking all that and then, putting my own little touch on it. When the Cutthroat character, I was still going with Cutthroat even after the HFC bit. It was generating a little bit of buzz, and then all of a sudden I'm starting to see everybody post themselves as Cutthroat or Cutthroat Era or Cutthroat Kid or Cutthroat this, Cutthroat that, Cutthroat Disciple. Sorry, Juba. I mean, no offense to you. I love you, Juba. And I was like, all right, there's too many Cutthroats going around right now. I kind of had the Forgotten thing on the back burner, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting healthier every day. My wrestling's getting a lot better. Let's roll with this. Let's go with this whole Forgotten gimmick. And it started with the whole with the House of Glory thing, with the Jeff Jarrett incident, which to this day I think is still one of my best moments. I still love that moment to this day. The guitar shot hurt like hell, but it was still one of the best moments that I had in my career. So doing that and then being left off the other shows, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? You can't just forget me. I'm a part of this roster too. I helped build this roster too. I think it came to a point where even the House of Glory Twitter page stopped following me at one point.
Oh wow.
And then I see your face, Ray. And then I was like, all right, they unfollowed me. All right, this is getting good. All right, let's keep going with this. I like this. This is getting good. And it kind of blossomed from there. And I was like, all right, I want to keep aspects of the whole Cutthroat thing and maintain the Forgotten gimmick. So maintain the the aggression, I don't want to say bitterness because that's a poor word to use. The resentment, the anger, keep all that within the forgotten character and, go from there.
So what are some of the promotions that you have worked for?
Well, minus House of Glory. Rockstar Pro Wrestling over in Ohio. Limitless before it blew up. I was part of 2 out of the first 3. Out of the first 3 shows, I was on 2 of them, which was awesome. Because even then, it was awesome. Like the environment, the vibe that's there at Limitless, it's great. Shout out to Randy. Randy's such a great guy. I did Blitzkrieg at one time. Blitzkrieg Pro, Ace. Excellence Pro Wrestling. It's such a fun place to work.
Yeah.
The environment there, the fans are like, you really try not to break character there, because the fans are hilarious. It really is. Like, one promotion that holds dear to my heart just because they gave me my shot, was Grand Slam Wrestling, GSW. They're located more on the north side, Pennsylvania, more closer to the Poconos. They gave me my shot. They basically ran with the punches. They're like, hey, we're not going to pay you much, but, you get to wrestle. I was like, all right, it's footage. It's a good place to start, to get my feet wet, and awesome. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it, Joe. And that's where we really came, it came into our characters, came into our wrestling. I still keep in contact with a lot of the guys that are there. They recently just did a comeback show. I did that. I wrestled Chris Banks while I was over there. It was just so good to be around those guys again. It just reminded me of, back at the youth center over in Scranton, PA. It was so good to see everybody there. So good to see Phil Stampert, Chio Valentine, Clay Drasher, Kit Raff, Blue and Gold. It was really, really awesome to see a lot of those guys over there. They really gave me my shot. Where else can I think of? IWE, those main trips. IWE also. Trying to think where else. PPW, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, as well. Also, they saw us at the GSW show. That's how we got onto there. Shout out to Paul Bo and Anthony and the rest of those guys. They're really cool guys over there. Let me think.
There's a lot. Wait,
he's been around.
Yeah, he's been around. Wait,
he's been around.
Did you mention CZW? Because I know you've been at the CZW Dojo Wars.
I've been at the Dojo Wars at CZW. Yep, yes, I have. CZW is also it's also really cool. Trying to think where else. I actually did a GCW show when they were doing the food truck festival.
Oh, how cool!
I was there for that one. That was actually really good. That was a good show. That was a fun show. I had fun that day.
Stuff to look up. See, there's so many promotions.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. There was another promotion, SSW Superstar Wrestling Southern PA.
You've been around. We're just leave it like that. You've been around.
I think we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, you have a lot.
I know there's more. I'll be honest. Off the top of my head, I can't really be too sure. I have to check my book. I write all my stuff down.
There's a lot. I mean, you listed a lot that I had said that was bucket list for me in 2020 and I hope everything gets better soon, so that because I had said this, there was PPW's been one, Limitless is one that I wanted to check out this year because I really do want to check out a lot of promotions, but this is why I do these podcasts because a lot of people, never mind me, because I'm not even aware of a lot of the stuff that you had brought up, but even the fans. Yeah. So stuff to look up, guys. There's so much wrestling out there.
There really is. There really is. Good and bad.
Yeah.
Some of the bad stuff is so bad that it's good. You just can't you can't help but just yes. I wanna stop watching, but I can't help it.
It's like a train wreck.
Yeah, it's one of those. Exactly. It's one of those
I've had my share go to those that are what is this? Must watch more. It's so bad. It's good.
That's great.
Good, Ray.
Okay. Next up, this is a very serious question. This one's very serious. Why is F-Zero your favorite video game?
Why do you think?
I was like, I hope he gets where I'm going with that.
Oh boy.
I was
know
like, if
exactly
this
where you're
stumps
going.
him, then.
Man. Come on.
Just for
Come on,
those
Ray.
that don't know what this is, F-Zero is where the character Captain Falcon originates. Because a lot of people just look at him as, oh yeah, he's a character on Smash Brothers. Do you know where he started?
Started in F-Zero.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good question. That was a good question.
Yeah. So which wrestlers inspired you while growing up?
Man. I mean, Hulk Hogan was one. I think even my mom has has video home footage of me pretending to be Hulk Hogan as a kid.
Aw.
Should
put that out.
No, that's gonna stay on videotape. No, that's not going anywhere. That's staying on videotape. Until they declare a VCR a historical item, that's not going anywhere. She also has me doing an impression of the Ultimate Warrior as well, also. And the funny thing is that it's just me mumbling. Like whoa, 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 whoa.
And that's cutting his promo already. There you go.
Hey.
It was just me mumbling. Like I still have no idea what I was saying. And then all of a sudden you hear the power. Oh, it was so funny. Oh man, who else? Trying to think who else. Bret Hart. Also, I mean, I was a really, really big Bret Hart fan. Sting as well, also, because I used to flip back and forth back into WCW. Vader also caught my eye. And then like I said, and at an early age, like I think I want to say I was 6 years old, and I'm seeing this really, really big guy doing a moonsault off the top rope. This guy saying he's over 400 pounds and doing a moonsault. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Especially around that time as well. Also, 1992, 1993. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Truly the land of the giants. Vader really caught my eye. Watching that whole rivalry between him and Sting, classic stuff. Really, really classic stuff. Owen Hart as well. Also, Owen Hart. I know he did a lot of New Japan stuff, but he was very Lucha Libre inspired. If you see his style, if you see the way he works. Gosh, who else? I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say Shawn Michaels.
Yes. It's like everybody's fave.
Yeah, literally. The guy was flamboyant. The guy had charisma. He was a good wrestler on top of that as well. Also, great wrestler on top of that. Also, there's a reason why he's calling himself the icon or the showstopper.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he called himself that, and he lived up to that. From the day he started to the day, to the day he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I mean, I could go further on and tell you how many wrestlers have inspired me.
I know, it's crazy.
I know you guys don't really have the time for that. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to a fan tweet. So our one of our friends, Chris, he said, "Who has been the most memorable opponent inside the ring, and how has it changed your life outside of the ring?"
Ooh, good question. There's a wrestler. His name is Clay Drasher. Crispy Clay. I met him wrestling at GSW. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. The first match that we had was a tag match. He was part of a team called Cash Masters, and I had Falcon Corp at that time. And this was a tag title match. So, and we're both going in there as heels. We're both going in there as bad guys. So we're like, okay, let's kind of throw the book out on this and let's just see who the better tag team is. Don't skip all the I'm put my foot on the rope to help myself win or try to do dirty tactics behind the referee's back. Let's throw all that out and let's just see who the better tag team was. We had a couple of exchanges in that match and he and I just clicked so well. And from there, it was just like, dude, like, we got to make this happen. Like, we got to get this one-on-one. Like, we wrestled a couple times. Again, it was just mostly in tag matches. But the times that he and I were in the ring, like, that chemistry was always there. So for him, I would, Clay, if you're watching this, man, I book it, man. I know you got the book. Book it, all right? I know you got the book, dude. I really hope I get a chance to wrestle him one-on-one. I think that'll be magic. I really think that'll. I don't want to say it'll blow up the internet, but it'll get some views. It'll get some eyes on us. I know it. And as far as that relationship changing me on the outside, it just made me more humble. It just made me more hungry, as compared to as I was before. Being in the ring with someone that understands the type of wrestling you like, and then that wrestler also likes that type of wrestling also. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Let's try to outdo each other. And then, what's the friendly competition? That's and it makes you want to one up the other one. You can do that. Well, I'm going to do this even better. Well, you do that better. I'm going to do this even. I'm going to go beyond that and do something like that. So it makes you more hungry. It makes you more competitive, and it really makes you really makes you want to chase the ball.
That's awesome. That's what you want to hear. You want to have the spirit of competition there. You want to get the
yes.
At the same time, showmanship. At the same time, it's that mutual respect factor.
Yes.
So you gotta love that.
That's exciting.
You kind of touched on it earlier, but can you talk us through the experience you had with Hall of Famer Double J Jeff Jarrett?
By far one of the nicest people I've ever met. After he hit me over the head with a guitar, we sat in the back. We spoke for a good 20 minutes. He told me about a lot of the traveling that he did in his day, when he was wrestling. We touched bases on a couple of things. Touched bases about Puerto Rico, which is where my family came from. Touch bases on religion. He was a born-again Christian. I as well come from a Christian faith as well also. Basically he told me just, stay hungry, stay humble. Basically the same thing that my trainer would tell me, that Amazing Red would tell me as well also. Stay hungry, stay humble. Someone's watching. It may not happen right away, but somebody is watching. And when he said that, I was like, you know what? He's absolutely right. And since I had this experience with him, he's probably going to be watching me now. So I can't let him down. I got to keep going. I got to do what I got to do. But that whole moment, being with Jeff Jarrett, being in the ring with him as well also, the energy that was coming from the fans as well also was something that I will never forget. It was memorable. It was really memorable, and that's something that I'll hold with me and take it to my grave.
That's so cool. What a cool experience. I love talking to everybody and then hearing great stories like this, because I can only imagine what you felt during this. So even like you said, everybody's like a mark, right? That you guys are the biggest marks. And then to actually work with somebody that you looked up to back then, it has to be such a humbling experience. That's so awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, I remember just being there. I remember the reaction that's because Jeff had just gotten announced that weekend too for Hall of Fame, and just the reaction of fans loving that he was there. And then again, Adam is the forgotten one, so it's wait, who are you again? Wait, you're stepping up to Jeff. Oh, this isn't gonna end well.
You're that guy.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So is there a promotion on your mind that you would love to work for that you haven't worked for, or maybe a future goal?
I do have a bucket list. There's still a lot of other promotions that I want to get my foot in the door in. It's kind of hard doing that when everybody's being left unseen. No pun intended. That wasn't a hit towards anybody. But my short-term goal right now, I would love to work for a place like MLW. I mean, they've been around a while. They took a small break and then came back and just recently came back. They've been putting on some great stuff lately. That's one place in mind. I mean, the eventual end-all be-all goal is, to be signed somewhere. My eventual end-all be-all goal is to end up in Japan. I want to, if I can live out there and work for a Japanese promotion, get signed to a Japanese promotion while I'm over there, that would be amazing. If somewhere down the line, let's say, WWE decides to come calling with a contract, I mean, to say that I won't say no is a little dumb, because anybody who does get a contract from WWE, you'll be dumb if you say no. Because they're throwing all that money at you and they're throwing an opportunity at you. So, but eventually, short-term goal, I would like to see myself in MLW. And then, just once I get there, it's like, okay, time to set new goals from there.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed for that. We have another fan tweet from our friend RJ. He said, "Best indie crowd you've worked in front of."
Besides House of Glory, I'm gonna say Limitless. The fans over at Limitless. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you two.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you tied for two. Limitless is one.
Mm-hmm.
The fan energy at Limitless is amazing. They love wrestling so much. Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, they love wrestling up there so much. The second place is Excellence. Again, going back to what I said before, like, it's really, really hard to not laugh while you're in the ring. Like, you have to put your head down, like, real quick, just to, like, give like a little chuckle. Like, most recently, like, I recently went back there and they were just calling me Just Adam. Like, Just Adam.
Yeah, that was
like,
kind of the hit earlier, and I was like, wait, do you have a last name?
yeah, you jerk. And I think like for like the first 5 minutes of the match, they were just chanting, "You're just Adam, you're just Adam," and inside myself, I'm cracking up. I'm like, this is some of the funniest stuff I have ever, like, who does this? This is awesome. But I had to be, I had to maintain my character. I had to maintain myself while I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
So I'm like really trying not to laugh. But Excellence is such a special crowd. They really, really are. I love Excellence so much. Them and Limitless Wrestling, like, by far, those are like my top two when it comes to fan interaction, when it comes to some of the best crowds that I've worked with.
All right, Limitless, top of the bucket list right now. Excellence. Me and Ray were there in September.
Yeah.
It was funny.
You guys were there.
Yeah, who was it? Matt Awesome tweet the Instagram story. He asked me, what was your favorite indie show of last year? And I actually put Excellence, because I had such a good time. You're right. It was the crowd. It was a very special place, and
it is.
I really
Just
did.
The environment. At Excellence is just like, you can see it's genuine fun, not only for the fans but the workers themselves.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
very family oriented, but in a good way.
Yes,
absolutely.
And even like you can tell the wrestlers are having fun. We were just talking about this with Anthony Gangone last week, and we were saying that we had such a good time. Too. That's
where him and Mark Quinn, the one night only team.
Yes.
I was there to see a couple of their shows, and when Gangone, when he broke his ankle, the time they hurt his ankle, like, he literally showed up there with the crutches in hand, had the sunglasses, had the scarf wrapped around his neck.
He was trying to be Larry Sweeney.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said.
I've seen those pictures.
He was doing the Larry Sweeney, and I couldn't help but just like, I just started laughing. I was like, oh gosh.
I see those pictures. I love it. Oh man. So definitely, I'm looking forward to them coming back again. It's a ride,
You got it.
but that's okay.
Hey, those are the best ones though. When it's
They
a
really
long drive and
are.
you're just
They
Yeah,
they
no,
really
I agree.
are.
Absolutely, I
Yeah,
agree.
they're worth. Some of these places are definitely worth the ride, and if you can't get on there, I think, I don't know. Is this on like YouTube? That there's so many promotions I can't keep up. Who's on YouTube? Who's on the
Excellence,
IWTV?
yeah, Excellence. I believe, yeah, some of their stuff. Yeah, a lot of their stuff is on YouTube. I think they have some of their full matches on YouTube.
yeah. There's some good ones on there. I think like especially like One Night Only.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those on there. Even with friends of ours like Nikki Heat, Smiley. There's a lot of matches on there you can check out.
I gotta start tweeting some of these out. I gotta start posting some of these videos out because there's really this is why like I go so much to indie wrestling because every promotion's different, but this is definitely a fun one to definitely check out. So, but
Absolutely.
I think you touched on this earlier a bit, but if you could choose one person to face again in like a heartbeat, who would it be?
Oh man, I got a couple of people in mind, but I gotta go back to Clay Drasher. I gotta go back to Clay Drasher. Again, it's that friendly competition. He's one of those guys that'll, even though he may not seem like it, he's very, very chill. He seems like one of those guys. He's one of those guys that'll he'll bring it out of you.
Yeah.
He'll bring out that spirit of competition out of you. I love working with him. I mean, again, if I ever get a chance to wrestle him again, Clay, you got the book. And yeah, if there's ever an opportunity. Listen, that fourth wall has been broken down since like the start of this thing. All right, so don't shush me.
And we're not done yet. We're not even done yet.
Oh man.
I feel like I usually ask the question to see their opinion, but if I had to choose someone just watching your matches, I would have to say Darius.
Ooh.
Yeah, Darius.
I feel like
Darius Carter, yes.
Both have that rugged style, and I feel like even just the promos that would come out of it would be awesome.
Oof. I gotta get him on the podcast too.
Darius was a learning experience. Darius will attack not only just your spirit, but he'll attack a body part. He'll make sure, and he'll stick with it the entire match. Darius is a very, 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 very. He reminds me of William Regal a lot. I see his style. He reminds me of William Regal.
Yeah.
He reminds me of William Regal. He'll find a body part. He'll stick with it. Shout out to Darius Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I ever, if the chance arises again, then yeah, I would love to work with Darius again. Matter of fact, if there's even a program with it, like that alone would be amazing.
Awesome. I gotta get him on the podcast too. I love him in the ring as well. So if you could face one legend in their prime, who would it be?
Oh wow. In their prime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
We like to stump around here.
Yeah. Oh man, no, because you know what? I got like, oh man, that's like another bucket list of mine. Shane Douglas.
Oh, okay. Oof. Oh, okay.
Shane Douglas.
Ooh.
The franchise, and I want that 1997 Shane Douglas. I want that where
throwing
Shane
the NW.
No, that was 1994 that he threw down the title. 1997 is when he beat Bam Bam Bigelow for the title. I think that was November to Remember. I think that was.
Oof. Encyclopedias over here.
Listen, I know my history.
No, that's good.
When it comes to wrestlers I know my my history.
Yeah.
The couple times that I met Shane Douglas, it was always great interactions. It was always a learning experience with him. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to wrestle him. But if I had to choose the legend that I wanted to wrestle, it would be Shane Douglas.
Awesome. So we have another fan tweet from Brooklyn Wolf of Makeup, our girl April. She said, "Which wrestler have you had the best match with so far?"
Darius Carter. That match was great. A little long, but that match was great. It was about storytelling in that match. And I know there's a handful of wrestlers that really pride themselves on storytelling. I think most recently the guys that you had are like TJ. Mm-hmm. TJ prides himself on that. Gango prides himself on that. Shane Douglas prides himself on that,
Yeah.
on telling a story. That match that I had with Darius that was a match that I wanted to have for a while now. And I'm glad I got a chance to do it. And it just makes me want to do it all over again. It told a story. The story behind it, Darius is undefeated in that little studio setting. And I got a point to prove. I'm trying to prove I ain't no punk. I'm trying to prove I can hang. And I did exactly that, even though I didn't win at the end. But that was awesome. That was a good match. I enjoyed that match.
Awesome. I gotta find that, and then I gotta tweet that out for you guys. I definitely want to.
I'll send you the link.
Yes, please. I definitely want to watch
link.
it. I'm very big into the storytelling, and that's one of the things that, like, because I also do the Oli podcast as well. These are the things that, like, excite me, that I feel back. I go all the way back even into the 90s. Like, I feel like I missed that, and that's why I kind of stopped watching WWE now, is I feel like it's kind of lacking that storytelling. And, like, you even talking about, like, Shawn Michaels and stuff, and I always I always feel like he's the best person that I always go back to and use as an example, which storytelling in wrestling. So that's one of my favorite things that I enjoy seeing in the ring, with you guys, wrestling, even in the indie scene. So because a lot of these promotions, they run every 2 months, every 3 months. Some of them don't even, maybe they run twice a year. So you have to have some sort of storytelling in the ring, because you're not getting too much, you're not on, weekly TV. So there has to be that storytelling in the ring that I enjoy so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an art form, and wrestling definitely is an art form that I feel like, sadly, it's lost a lot of times because of all the flash and stuff. But when it's truly shown and it's done right, it's amazing. Yeah, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Like,
This era that we're in wrestling right now, it's an athletic era, because the stuff that you're seeing now
is different.
Is unreal. It's literally like out of a video game.
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing guys doing all these flips, doing all these crazy moves. Unfortunately, guys getting hurt, either broken legs or broken necks while doing all this. I mean, this is the risk that we take the risk and the chances that we take, going into the ring and doing all that. But I call this the era of the video game, because that's exactly what everything is like right now.
And that's where we'll end that, because we'll piss some people off when we keep going. Okay, so
I'm all about that, Ray.
I still want to start my career here, so I'm gonna stop. Okay, so again, another famous one here. We have more fan tweets for you. So, from our friend Wrestling History at WWE Master, he says, "What do you think about the Eugene gimmick in 2004?"
That's a random question.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess they kind of figured you were a historian, so I guess they wanted to ask you. I don't know.
Okay. Well, me personally, I enjoyed the Eugene gimmick. Again, it's going back to storytelling. They told a story with the Eugene character. Eugene is Eric Bischoff's nephew. He wants to be a wrestler. He likes Stone Cold. He likes The Rock. He likes Triple H. He likes Hulk Hogan. He likes all these. He likes all these guys in the ring. These are guys that he looked up to, and they, at least to me, I felt they built an incredible story out of it. The fans got behind him. I think he eventually, I think he won a tag team title with William Regal. I think, right? Like, they ended up winning the tag titles.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that match, listen to the fans. Listen to the reaction that they got when they won the match. Everybody was happy that Eugene won, and it was getting to a point where Eugene was really getting up there. It's like, okay, let's see what else this kid can do.
Right.
And they put him in the match with Triple H, and it kind of died from there, unfortunately. But I enjoyed watching the stuff that Eugene was doing. Let's not call him Eugene. His name was Nick Dinsmore. Okay?
Yeah. He does have a great mind for the business, too. That guy, even oddly enough, the gimmick he had, if you listen to, seminars he's done, and just him speaking on wrestling, it shows, again, how great of a storyteller he was.
Yes, absolutely. They, matter of fact, I remember listening to a podcast with Jim Ross on it, and him talking about Nick Dinsmore calling him like he started calling him the Iceman because he had that cold look in his eye while he was wrestling. He said it reminded him so much of Dean Malenko, and Dean Malenko prided himself on calling himself the Iceman. Matter of fact, if he alone will tell you how good he was.
Awesome.
There you go.
Saying, Adam, you suck. Adam, I don't like you. And I'm looking back at this kid like sit down, shut up. Like, God, leave me alone. What's wrong with you? And he popped out of nowhere and just said, hey, you have a muffin top. For those of you. And I looked back, like, I had to put my head down real quick because I started laughing. I was like, a little kid. So I looked back at him. I waited, he turned his back. I dropped down. I run up to him and I yelled in his ears, like, sit down! The kid just, I felt so bad afterwards because the kid was like,
Oh.
like that. And then he sat down and just looked at me like had that look on his face. And, me being, me being the a-hole that I was, I gloated in that. I'm the man. That's right. That's right. I looked back at him like, you better stay there. I came back up to the apron, back to the corner with my tag partner Joe, and again, I just had to put my head down because I was cracking up so much. It was one of the funniest experiences that I've ever had in wrestling. Like after the show, his dad came up to me. He had the kid in his hand. The kid was hiding behind his dad's leg, and I went down on one knee and I looked at him, and he kind of like peeked over with one eye, and I was like, "You got something to say to me?" He said, I'm sorry. I was like, it's okay. Like, we're cool. Gave him a little fist bump, and his dad was like, I appreciate that, man. I was like, oh, it's all right, man. Don't worry about it. It's like, we're all having fun here.
I love these stories. This is why I love asking them, because everybody's got a different story.
That's that's something that stuck with me. Like, I'm thinking about it now. I'm really trying not to crack up. But that was like one of the funniest experiences that I've ever had in wrestling. Oh man,
that's great.
I think I know what I'm calling Adam from now on.
Oh,
Ray,
careful!
I'm gonna kill you.
Careful, Ray.
I'm gonna kill you.
Oh man, can't go. We'll come beat you up in the hospital next after he kills you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. No, don't piss off Gango either.
Okay. Next question. Okay. So, when wrestling comes back, when all this hopefully blows over, what does 2020 look like for Adam Cain?
Oh, man, I remember last year saying that 2020 was going to be my year, and then, all this happened. I was like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
Hopefully when all of this does blow over, because it will, I know it will. Just a gut feeling that I have. It's just about, doing the drives, grinding as much as I can, working out as much as I can, getting as much ring time as I can. I'm going to continue to do Dojo Wars, get some more content out there, and see what the future holds. I would love to predict the future and say, hey, I'm going to be here in 2020, or I'm going to be here in 2021 and be here in 2022. But I mean, I know things are not going to work out like that. There are going to be some downsides. There are going to be some good times. There are going to be some bad times. So it's just more along the lines of saying, what is 2020 going to hold for me? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it brings. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to be good things. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that, my emails will blow up and say, hey, are you available for this date? Are you available for that date? So only time will tell.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So.
There you go. Funny enough, I asked that, but it's a kind of a two-parter, because a friend of yours and a friend of mine as well has a question. Let me just pull it up one sec. Again, I don't know how he did this because he doesn't speak English. Like, I guess he deciphered it with Google Translate. From a certain Psycho Luchador, it's a two-parter. For one, who are you again? Because he forgets. But then he goes into, how do you plan on making an impact on the wrestling world so you won't be forgotten?
Oh.
Well, maybe I'll start with you, Smiley. Wait a minute. How was he able to know how do you know how to use Google Translate to begin with?
He must have asked someone in the psych ward. I don't know.
But he's in a
it's
psych
there.
ward.
It's in,
Everybody's crazy there. Like, I don't understand. Okay.
it's in
all
the
right.
text. It's in the text.
Well, Mr. at Insane Psycho Luchador, whatever frig your name is. If you really need to know who I am, I'll be more than happy to send you that clip of, of your girlfriend getting ace crushed. And secondly, how am I going to make the impact? Again, I'm starting with you, man.
Oh.
That sounds like a call out. Smiley, that sounds like a call out. That sounds like a challenge, man. You want it? Bring it, dude.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh. Oh.
What is that? What is that?
It's his mask, but
That looks like a half moon.
Okay, so the call out's been sent.
there you go.
Can we get back to Can we get
a
back to
challenge set
normal?
out.
Can we get back to normal? Because I'll get in my car with Ray. You know, we'll go. We'll be there. I'm buying tickets right now, front row. Got you. Okay.
Listen,
So
if Smiley wants it, listen, I'm right here. You set it up, and I'll blow you up.
oh man, there you have it. Damn. Okay, so what's been the biggest piece of advice that a wrestler has given to you?
Again, going back to what my trainer said, Amazing Red. Stay humble. Keep grinding. Keep working hard. Somebody is always watching. You may not know it, but there's somebody out there that is always watching, because you could be doing really, really well in the indies, and then next thing you know, boom, you get picked up.
Good
I think that's some of the best advice that I've ever gotten.
Cool. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, here we go. I was just checking
Yeah.
the chat as well just to see if we had anything else before I get to my last question here. Before I don't die here, because he's giving me an eye, like he wants to kill
No,
me.
you're good. You're good for now. You're good right now.
Till we finish this interview and go off air.
Go off air. You're gonna see a pair of hands just come out of nowhere.
He's like, I'll get you later in Uno.
Listen, I still haven't forgotten about that draw for man. All right? I'm taking that to heart. Okay.
Damn.
For someone that's forgotten, he doesn't forget.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I'll try to stay serious for this, but I can't. So for my last question, well, it's more of a statement here. We'll joke around about you being forgotten. However, something I will not forget, that many won't even know this, Adam actually had a hand in my training. Many of them won't know this. At House of Glory years ago, he's one of those people that had not only my back in training, but just showed me the proper way in a lot of things. So, and all I can say is thank you for what you've done for me, and I'm glad to call you a brother.
I need some tissues.
You really want me to break character, don't you?
Hey, it's what I do with this last statement.
Damn it! I need
always
to
do this, especially when it's friends of mine on this.
I gotta get a box of tissues every time
Yeah,
Ray's on.
I remember Ray walking in there, and I remember Ray having a little bit of trouble, like doing the rolls. The best formula I have for things like that is just motivate. You're doing well, man. Keep going. You're doing well. Keep going. If I see that you're doing something wrong, I'm not going to be one of those guys and I say like, you suck. You're doing this wrong. Like, no, I'm going to tell you the right way to do it and still motivate you in the process as well. Also, you have been one of my biggest supporters. You even texted me a photo of you wearing one of the hoodies that's on Store Frontier. So I mean, to say that you're not a brother, it'll be a little redundant. You become more than a friend. You're a brother. You're a family. And I appreciate you being there. I appreciate you being a fan. I appreciate your support, and hope it continues, man.
Thank you. Funny, I have to bring that up just to put myself a little under here. With those roles, I've told Tiff this story, and AEW's Mark Quinn can say it too. I go for a front roll. Decide, I'm going to do it standing up. I got this. Brainbuster myself to Adam and Quinn thinking, oh, he just died.
I remember that day.
I'm like, let me save the story because it was again. I thought, I'm good. Boing.
I remember that day. It was one he decided to do the forward roll standing up, and he basically brainbusted yourself. And I remember my reaction. My reaction was like. And I think I even went to Quinn. I'm like, Quinn, I think he's dead.
I got overzealous. I was like, I got him kneeling. I got him good. I was good. And then standing, I was like, okay, here we go. Boom. I remember standing up so quick though, like, I'm good. I roll out like, fuck.
Oof.
I think we checked on you that whole day. I think, are you all right? Are you sure? Are you okay? Are you sure? Are you sure you can do this, man?
You'll never make that
mistake. I kept going.
Like you didn't sign the waiver, man. Are you sure you got this?
I love hearing these stories though. They're so great. So I love it.
I love it.
You guys are great. I love all you guys.
Great times.
Yeah, like I love that I get to share a lot of this with you guys now. I appreciate it so much. You guys have no idea. You guys mean everything to me. So let's finish off with one final question. I mean, because this interview has been absolutely amazing. So, to all inspiring and amateur wrestlers out there, what's some advice that you would give them?
This isn't easy. You're going to make sacrifices. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt really, really bad. If you do start wrestling training, that first week is going to be like hell. Not necessarily from the amount of bumps and everything like that you're taking, but just from the workouts alone. Make sure that your cardio is never really going to be up there. But make sure you're able to keep up. Do your homework. Make sure you do your homework on this. Find yourself a reputable school or reputable trainer that you're going to learn from, and just shut up and listen. Whatever your trainer is telling you, they're telling you for a reason. Whatever your trainer is doing to you, he's doing for a reason. Again, I mean, we're not all taking these bumps and taking these turnbuckle hits and these dives to the outside for nothing. We're all doing this because we all want to make it. We all want something out of it. We all want something out of this. We're not just doing this for, excuse my language, for shits and giggles. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I apologize.
You're good. You're good.
I apologize for the cursing. Man.
You're good.
You guys are okay with that.
You're good. We don't care about here.
Okay. All right. Well, if I'd have known that.
He tried to stay PG, and I said fuck earlier, and nothing.
Yeah. I try to stay as PG as possible, but fuck it. Anyway, again, make sure you're ready. Make sure you're able to take it. Make sure your body can handle it. Again, this is not for shits and giggles. There will be people out there that will try to bring you down. There will be people that will criticize you about what it is that you do, about how you are in the ring, about how you are as a person. Find yourself a clique, find yourself people that have the same mentality as you do, and stick with them. Once you stick with them, their energies are just you're gonna soak in all those energies. You're gonna soak in all the knowledge that you pick up from them. You're gonna soak in all that positivity that you're gonna soak in from them. I'm gonna put over Leroy on this one because Leroy is actually one of those people. Leroy Green. Leroy is so positive, it's sickening. Like I mean that. And I love Leroy to death. I really do. He is so positive. He is so humble to be around. He is smiling all the time. Not just because he has a switch in his hand, but because he loves wrestling, because he loves what he does. He loves that he's doing this either on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, or however many times he gets booked. You want to stick around people like that. That's probably the best advice I can give to those that are considering or that are starting their wrestling journey. Find somebody that wants the same thing that you do, that has the same goals as you do. Make them your workout buddies, make them your training partner, and just grind it out. Again, going back to what my trainer, Amazing Red, told me, stay humble, stay grinding, train hard. There is always somebody watching. You never know.
It's true. It's great advice. But I'm just a fan, and I see it. Just like, the friendships that I've developed with all you guys. Like, I feel like I've been learning so much just being around all you guys and just seeing it and being a fan and watching you guys, because again, you guys all caught me somehow, that I support all of you guys. So there's a reason. So you guys are doing something right. So all that advice that you've given, it's definitely true. So thank you.
Take that to heart, please. The advice that I'm giving, take it to heart. Don't take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it with a shot of Jack. Take it to heart.
Thank you so much. So
take it to heart, and I mean that for you also, Tiff. Somebody is always watching. You're doing this podcast stuff. There's always somebody watching.
Hi.
Exactly. You're doing that. Like I know you do your All Elite podcast. Hey, Cody gives you a call, and it's like, hey, we actually want to start an All Elite podcast. You want to be a part of it.
You don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, like I tell everybody, I love this stuff. I do it to enjoy. I love you guys. Like I love hearing the backstory, and I, with all the indie wrestlers, even the AEW, like I love talking about what I love, and I get to share that with everybody who listens. So. Thank everybody, really. You guys are all awesome. So I wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you, really.
And we wouldn't be here without you. So.
I'm here. I'll be the screaming fan in the front. now you guys all know me now.
I saw that video. By the way.
Which video? There's so many videos of me screaming.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I'm a good fan to have, man. Like the crowd can be dead.
You are. No, that's the type of fan that wrestlers love. We love those dedicated fans.
Yes.
Not just not the half-ass fans that are just there like, oh, hey. Because those fans, I'm gonna treat the exact same way back.
Yeah.
Oh hey, yeah, That same face right back. That same stank face right back.
No, I'm definitely making signs and throwing freaking what's it called
Streamers.
Yeah, streamers, and I don't really care. I'm sure like somebody will steal my beer one of these days. I got water thrown at me. I got wrestlers sitting on me. It's great. I love you guys.
Probably me. Don't leave your beer out. I'll probably.
All right, I won't have beer when you're wrestling. I love it.
Like when I'm hanging out with friends, like I'm the guy. Like especially if we're at a bar and we're all dancing, like I'm the guy that'll like sneak over to someone else's drink, like that.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I like I said, I hope this ends soon because I miss all you guys. I miss all the shows. Like I can't thank you guys enough for what you guys do in the ring and everything that you do. Like I really appreciate it. So from me, like I can definitely like thank all you guys. So thank you for what you do. So, but tell everybody where they can find you. I do have all your links below in the description, guys, that you can click. But tell everybody where they can find you.
Yep, everything in the description below. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at _Adam_Cain. Find me on Facebook at Adam Cain. If I don't know, just don't be weird, please.
Don't be weird.
Just don't be weird. Be cool. Be a fan. Just don't be weird. Don't go into my DMs asking me weird questions because if you do, I'll block you. I'm letting you know right now.
Don't ask this man to play Uno with you either.
Oh, the hate is real.
Round 4.
Hey, Ray, but you beat me in like
One.
4 different, like it was like 3 different games, 4 different games. I think it was only 1 game that I beat you.
I love it. I love it. Guys, go buy some merch.
I love Uno.
Gotta love Uno.
Yes, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, go storefrontier.com /Adam Cain. I have had 2 designs on there. One of the designs, the cutthroat design, is going to be taken down at the end of the month. I will be doing a special on there for $12. So it has all sizes available. So if you're interested, click the link below, get that cutthroat t-shirt. It's going to be around until the end of this month, until the end of April. So April 30th will be the last day for you to pick that up. I will make the adjustments on there. If you do buy the shirt, take a picture, send it to me. I'll give you a free 8x10.
Cool.
And I'll even pay for the shipping.
Cool.
So you don't have to worry about that.
There you go, guys. Go show some support. He'll send some YouTube videos of himself that I'll put up on Twitter, so you guys can go check that out too. Because I definitely want to help everybody. Me, I love to see matches that I haven't seen. So I not only me, but I'll post them up for him as well. So yeah, so I think that's gonna wrap everything up. I mean, guys, is there anything else that you want to tell the people out there listening? No?
Support wrestling. Support wrestling. Just support each other. Be positive in this time. Definitely just remain positive. Like we've kept saying, just try to stay sane.
Yeah. That's it.
Just to piggyback off of Ray, yes, support your local indie promotion. I want to see everybody's butts in all these promotions the minute they start giving us the okay to start doing wrestling again. I want to see everybody in all these small promotions. Support your local indie promotion. Support your local indie wrestler. Go to prowrestlingtees.com. Get their t-shirts from there. Message your favorite indie wrestlers. See if they have merch, stickers, pins, wristbands, t-shirts, hoodies, 8x10s, whatever you can. Support them as much as you can, because a lot of these guys, unfortunately, are out of work because of all this. A lot of these guys do use wrestling as a full-time gimmick. Support them any way you can. Retweet their stuff if they post up matches. Retweet it. Share it any way that you can. Post a link, whatever it is that you can. Any support that any fan could give is appreciated to any wrestler.
Yeah, definitely. So, thank you both for coming on, Ray. Thank you. It's always a pleasure, even though you're a heel.
Always.
I'm gonna keep going with that. Adam, I hope this ends soon so that we can I could see you in the ring again, So I'll be there. I'll be there with Ray. I'll throw streamers at you. Maybe I'll throw glitter. I don't know. We'll see. I'll find something for you.
No, Ray's gonna be at my merch table this time.
Oh, the shot that goes. If you guys don't know the story with that, we went to Wrestling for a Cause. There was 8 of us that we had front row seats, and Ray left me for number one husband and sold number one husband's merch, and he didn't even hang out with me in April, so I'm a little salty. So I don't know if it's your fault.
Being a good friend.
You're being a good friend, or maybe you asked Gangone that you just did not want to be around us. I see how it is. Anyway. I love you guys, really. I love you guys. You guys are great. So again, thank you guys both for coming on. Guys, thank you for hanging out, checking out the No Holds Barred Network, Under the Ropes. Stay tuned. Make sure you like this, share it, subscribe to the channel. I will get more independent wrestlers on for you guys. I'm so excited to hear everybody's stories, so I hope you guys enjoyed. So once again, be safe, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
There's something